Alright guys, so sorry I haven't given you a few reviews for the past week. I'm coming down with a cold, as you could probably tell. So I haven't been able to do some reviews. I look like a wreck. But I did see a couple movies in the new Supernatural episodes, so I'm going to get those reviews to you as soon as possible. So right now we're going to review the new Christopher Nolan space adventure. Interstellar. So Interstellar is the new movie from Christopher Nolan. It's a space adventure movie. So the premise of the movie is that Earth is devastated. All these dust balls are popping up, and Matt McConaughey has to go into space to save humankind, which involves going through a wormhole with people from NASA, Anne Hathaway, Wes Bentley, another dude that I don't know the name for. They go through this wormhole to find these other planets that they think are habitable, and they have to go check it out, see if they're habitable, see if mankind can live on those planets. And just like all Christopher Nolan's other movies, this movie is really good. But just like Inception, this movie is kind of overrated. In the sense that, here's the thing about Interstellar. Here's the thing about Inception too, is that he just made it way too big, overthought things, and just made you think about things way too much. That's exactly what he does with Interstellar. For instance, the first 2/3 of the movie are pretty straightforward, but then you get to the third act of the movie, the last like 20 minutes of the movie, and you're just like, well, where did that come from? It's like he pulled it out of the sky and was just like, yeah, let's roll with that. It'll work, don't worry. And the studio was like, all right, well, put that in the movie. We'll finance it. That's what the movie does. Towards the end, it just seems like it's way too big. Christopher Nolan's just overreaching his grasp, not making it too scientific. The movie's a scientific movie. It's got the theory of relativity in it, but I mean it's a scientific movie in the way that people who don't know science understand what is going on in the movie. And then that happens and you're like, what? And something I guess I didn't see it coming until like the middle of the movie. But I guess you could say the beginning kind of foreshadows what's going to happen, and I was like, and in the middle of the movie I was just like, oh, that's going to be Matt McConaughey doing that in this situation, and that's what it ended up being. And so because of that, we get a very, very, very long movie pushing 3 hours for a movie that shouldn't be pushing 3 hours because he threw all this bull in. And when this happened, it kind of took me out of the movie for a minute. I was like, why is this happening? I understood what was going on, but I didn't understand why it was in the movie. I felt like it was an unnecessary part of the movie. And the runtime, oh my god, the runtime, 169 minutes. Why did this movie have to be that long? You could have trimmed down a half hour of this movie and it still would have been great. But remember, this is Christopher Nolan. I like Christopher Nolan as a filmmaker, but he does have to make everything exuberant, big, and overlong. His movies are overlong. Inception could have been 20 minutes shorter. And then Anne Hathaway's character. I liked Anne Hathaway in this movie up until a certain point in the movie. She was there, she was along, she was one of the astronauts to go with McConaughey on this huge space journey, and she's going along with the mission until this point in the movie where it kind of pissed me off because I was like, that's not the point of her character, where she kind of goes against her character and is like, yeah, let me screw the mission and go to this planet because I have an emotional attachment to this planet that has nothing to do with the mission. I'm just like, really? This whole time? You're on this mission. Seriously. You want to go there because of an emotional attachment? Come on. Then the planets. I feel like there was kind of no point in going to the planets. It was just kind of like, alright, we're going to stop here. Oh, giant tidal wave coming. Let's go. Oh, we're going to stop here. Nothing here, let's go. The only planet that was really relevant to the plot was the ice planet that I call Hoth, because it looks like Hoth. Just like the other planets, like the water planet, for instance, it was just there to show you this big, giant-ass tidal wave. That was it. There was no point in going to that planet. That really didn't add anything to the plot. I know it kind of sounds like I don't like this movie, but I really do like this movie. For instance, the visuals in this movie. Wow. For instance, this is the black hole in the movie, and when this came up in the movie, I saw this and I was like, wow, that looks really, really real. And then another instance that we see here is the tidal wave. It looks really real. It was almost like I was playing Destiny and I was on that level where you look up at the moon and you're like, holy shit, this is the moon. This is awesome. That's what it felt like. And right now I'm going to compare this movie to Gravity because I know I might have been bitching about the story in this movie a few minutes ago, but Unlike Gravity, this movie actually has a story. And that's good, it works. You have to have a good space adventure movie with a story. I don't want to see somebody just falling through space for an hour and a half. No, that gets boring. For instance, I like how this movie can put science and everything like scientific, make it a realistic space adventure movie, make you feel like you're actually one of the astronauts inside the space capsule, unlike Gravity. And it worked. And the thing is I saw this movie in IMAX. When that space capsule takes off, that floor is rumbling. It makes you feel like you're in there. I like space exploration adventure movies because they actually go into space for a purpose, to go and explore space to see if there's other planets they can inhabit or do whatever they need to do in space, not just somebody getting detached from a space station and falling through space for an hour and a half. No, not that. So I give kudos to Christopher Nolan. He's always been a good storyteller. He did a good job storytelling with this movie. Aside from the last 20 minutes where he seemed to be overreaching and overgrasping, trying to make everything bigger than it should be. I want to talk about the acting now. Matt McConaughey. I'm not a big Matt McConaughey fan. I never really liked Matt McConaughey. I always thought he made bad movies. But his past couple movies, Wolf of Wall Street, Dallas Buyers Club, he did a really good job in. This movie, he did a really good job in. Does that make him a good actor? No. I still think Leonardo DiCaprio should have gotten the Oscar for Wolf of Wall Street over Matt McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club, even though he was really good in Dallas Buyers Club, but it doesn't make him a good actor. He's just in a well-written, well-directed, well-shot movie. In this, it doesn't seem like he's overacting, though. He's still got that stupid southern accent. Hey, yeah, I'm Matt McConaughey. I'm gonna talk like this for the whole movie. You can barely tell that my lips are moving because I'm talking out of the side of my mouth like all southerners do from South Carolina. I'm a farmer, okay? I grew up. I didn't have a hero growing up. I'm gonna talk like this the whole movie so you barely understand what I'm saying the whole movie. You have to put on subtitles when you buy it on DVD or Blu-ray. That's Matt McConaughey for you. Anne Hathaway, she did a really good job in the movie up until the point where I said that she totally pissed me off and went against the mission. Other than that, she was really good in the movie. She wasn't hot, though. She had that stupid pixie cut that every actress is going for now. I don't know why. Michael Caine, he's in every Christopher Nolan movie ever made from Batman Begins to now. He was really good in the movie. Of course he is. He's Michael Caine. He played Alfred. He buried enough members of the Wayne family. But the one who really steals the show in this movie is Jessica Chastain. She plays Murph, who's actually Matt McConaughey's daughter in this movie. She starts off as a little girl, then she grows into Jessica Chastain. She steals the show. You really feel bad for Murph because she's trying to figure out this whole science thing with her father. Her father has to take off when she's a little girl, go into space, and then he's communicating with her. She's sending him messages. Yeah, those were heartfelt messages when she's an adult and he sees them in the space capsule. But everything she's trying to figure out in this movie, she does really well. She does a very good job acting. She steals the show. A couple of pointless characters. I mean, this one could go either way. Casey Affleck as his son. Really didn't see the point for him having a son. It could have just been him as a single father with his daughter Murph, who grew into Jessica Chastain. Other than that, I really don't think he needed a son. But since the son was in there, Casey Affleck did a good job in this movie. But then we have Topher Grace. Why was Topher Grace in this movie? I don't know why. He was like a throw-in at the last minute. Christopher Nolan was just like, yep, put this guy in there. Done. I don't get why he was in this movie. He was completely pointless. And then there's another actor in this movie who I'm not going to tell you who it is for those of you who have not seen this movie yet. I thought he was just going to be a cameo, but he actually turns out to be a significant part of the plot, and I like that. I thought he was going to be in like one scene, but he ended up being in a couple scenes, and I was surprised that he was in it that much. So in the end, Interstellar is a good movie. It's got good acting from Matt McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, everybody involved, a good story, good visual effects, good use of science behind it. Like, it's got the theory of relativity in it. I like the theory of relativity. I like astronomy. I like how that all kind of came together. One of the characters in the movie was played by a big-name actor who I thought was going to have a cameo, but he actually ended up playing a significant part into the plot, which was surprising to me, and I liked that. In the third act, I didn't mention this in the review, the third act kind of ties everything together the way that it should. I mean, the way it was presented in the movie, I wasn't a big fan of in the third act, but I mean, because it was presented like that, it tied everything together really well. But the truth is, this movie is overrated, a bit overlong, could have been trimmed down 20 minutes. The third act of the movie is just like Christopher Nolan pulling shit out of the sky and just plopping it into the movie. Kind of like went off of all of this science stuff and just threw everybody for a scientific loop. It went even bigger. It still had all the science, but it went bigger than it should have. It was Christopher Nolan overthinking, trying to be way too big, like he was in Inception. And some of the planets in this movie that they stopped at just kind of pointless. I didn't really see the point of them other than them riding up a cool tidal wave that made for a cool action scene. Anne Hathaway's character, who I grew to like throughout this whole movie, goes against the mission at the end to go to this other planet where she has an emotional attachment to. And I thought it was completely against her character because she was so tied to this mission, and I really didn't like that from her. That doesn't take away the fact that Interstellar is still a good movie, and I say Interstellar is a fun movie, no use or influence of drugs needed. If you ask me what movie I prefer, Interstellar or Gravity, definitely Interstellar. There's people that are going to go into this movie expecting it to be the next 2001: A Space Odyssey, and no, it is not that. Nothing was ever going to beat that as a space movie. Maybe Star Wars, but nothing other than that. So I'm going to ask, which space movie do you guys prefer, Gravity or Interstellar? And if you want to throw 2001: A Space Odyssey in there, you can. So which of those three do you prefer? I want some feedback, so drop me a comment in the comment section below. And for more reviews on movies, music, video games, and TV shows, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you happen to see a lot of activity on my page today, it's because I'm doing a lot of reviews today. I'm behind. So that is why. Don't freak out. I just love you guys that much, even though I'm still sick.